Hi there, and welcome to Tackling Stress. This is a 4-part program, and it has 10 points that we'll make throughout this 4-part program. And these points will help you to manage your stress in a better way so that you can lead a more healthy and successful life. And the plan is divided into 4 parts. The first one, tackling the problem, we'll go over today. The second one is taking care of my body. The third is dealing with emotions. And the fourth, making the world a better place. When we go over this plan, you'll notice that you'll come up with a bunch of ideas for each point. And please don't think that you need to try all of them. The plan is supposed to help reduce stress and definitely not add to them. So try out 1 or 2 ideas and see how they work for you. Let's get started. Point 1 is identify and address the problem. First, decide if the problem is truly a tiger attacking you or if it just feels like one. If it can't physically hurt you, chances are that it can be better handled with clear thinking. And this means turning off thoughts that make you interpret the situation as a total and complete disaster. A lot of people cope by ignoring their problems, and this doesn't make your problems go away, and usually it only makes things get worse. People who cope by trying to fix their problems and address them face on, head on, tend to be emotionally healthier and happier. Fights with parents and friends don't just evaporate into the ether and go away either. You need to deal with them. So you need to get with what is. And the chances are that you're interpreting and maybe assuming things that aren't correct. So you need to get clarity and get clear and address the problem head on. When it comes to doing studying, work, or chores, it's best to get the work done first because work or studying, it produces stress. It produces stress in all of us. Many people put it off and choose to do fun things, but then in actuality, they can't truly enjoy the fun things because they're stressed about the work that they need to do. And the longer you put it off, the more worry it creates. And the cycle continues, and it's endless. Three thoughts and ideas that can help you manage stress and work a little bit better. Break up your work into smaller pieces. So then do some small pieces at a time, rather than look at the whole big thing as a really big mess that you have to tackle. As you finish each piece, the work becomes less and less overwhelming. The second thing that you can do is make lists of what you need to do. This will help you sleep because your head won't be spinning in a constant state of worry about whether you've completed everything and what all the work is that you need to have done. And at the end of the day, you'll have less to worry about and more things check off and finished and completed. And that feeling of accomplishment also increases a greater state of well-being. You look at the same huge amount of work and now you can handle it. And the third thing is make timelines for really big projects. The next point that I want to make is that sometimes we know exactly when we're headed for trouble. Avoiding trouble from a distance is easier than dealing with it up close. You know the people who might be a bad influence on you. You know the places where you're likely to get into a bit of trouble. And you definitely know the things that you can engage in that can upset you and can decrease your state of well-being. So choose not to be around those people, those places, and those things that set you off track and that really mess you up. This next point I think is really important and really a game changer and a life changer. You need to just let some things go. It's important to try to fix our problems. It's important to try to get with what is and not ignore the problems that are in front of us that we can control. But there are some things, for example, that you can't control. You can't control the weather and you can't control the current state of being under a stay-at-home order. You can't control homeschooling and the teachers give you tests. So don't waste your energy worrying about it, and don't waste your energy complaining about it. Study for the test, do your work, and then move on, right? And when it comes to your parents, you can't change the fact that your parents need to know where you are. So prove that you're responsible, prove that you deserve more freedoms. And people who waste their energy worrying about things that they can't change, they have no leftover energy for the things that they can control. And also, I think it's important to note here, try to take less things personally. Rarely are things just about you. It's more about the other person or things that maybe they're going through. So if you feel badly for no reason, it could be because you're taking things personally. And remember, it has little to do with you. Okay, so now we have all this information, and how do we put it into work? So we can create our own personal stress plan. It's like, how am I going to manage all these things that are coming my way? So when it comes to tackling the problem, here's the first bit of advice. When I have too many problems, I'll work on just one thing at a time. For example, I'm going to pick one huge problem and I'm going to break it down into smaller pieces. The second part of that is that I'll seek advice from family members and trusted adults and learn from their experience so that I can better handle and manage my problems. It's tough when we try to keep everything inside. It's really important, especially at this time, being stuck at home, that we're continuing to connect and communicate with our friends and people that we trust in the community. The third part is that you'll take on big assignments and you'll learn to make lists and timelines. Break it up into smaller chunks so that you can more easily manage it. And the final part of this is that you'll learn to work in teams, and so that you can learn to work with people and together so that you can get much more work done as a group than you can on your own. Let it go. Just think about all the things. If you could release them from the grip that they have on your mind, how much freer and how much happier you would feel. So what are some of the things that you can let go of? Realizing that quite possibly you're wasting some of your energy worrying about things that you cannot control. So make a list right now of some of the things that you can let go of so that you can focus on the problems or the things that are happening in your life that you can affect real change on. Everyone has stress. Even the Dalai Lama and the Pope have stress. No one is without it. So there are things that we can do, right? People, places, and things that we can avoid that we know create greater stress in our life. So there's another opportunity for you, even if you don't write it down, just to make a mental list of the things that you can do. The certain people that you will avoid, the certain places that you will avoid, and the certain things you will avoid. And as you start to identify what these things are, these places that you can avoid that increase your stress, you'll start to notice that you have more energy, more happiness, and a greater state of well-being.